What's good, fight fans? Welcome back to another episode of Combat and Kick. You already know it's your host Bando, because there's nobody else that does this show. It's just me. So we are back at it today. I'm skipping out of the MMA realm. I'm going to the boxing realm because there was a massive boxing announcement for a three-fight card. Not a three-fight card. It's going to be a massive card, but three major fights on the same card together, and I had to come through and talk about it. And obviously this past weekend we had Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach, and ended in a draw. A little bit of controversy there, so there's some stuff we got to talk about, so let's get right into it. Let's go. For all the people that say I need to do more boxing episodes, well, here the fuck I am. So the Sheik came through with a massive announcement for a three-fight headliner, and you got Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Teofimo Lopez all on the same card, which is shocking to even hear in the first place. The build-ups for all these fights are going to be insane. It's going to be a very explosive fight week and everything like that. It's one of those fight weeks where you lock in the entire week. You're paying attention to every little aspect that's going on, every interview, every press conference, the weigh-in shows, all that. You don't miss anything because it's such a major and important thing. Now, this is one of the biggest cards we have ever gotten. I mean, obviously, last weekend we had that massive card as well with the Bivol and Beterbiev card. That was huge. That was a massive stat card. Obviously had some fallouts, so it wasn't as big as it was originally meant to be, but this card is going to be huge. So Ryan Garcia is facing off with Rolly Romero. I think this has been announced for a while. You know, people kind of knew, and there was a lot of speculations that it was going to be Rolly to be Ryan's next opponent, and they're making it happen. You're looking at an interesting fight with that one. You're looking at a power puncher versus speed. In my opinion, I would totally lean Ryan Garcia just with the way that Rolly moves. He likes to stay a little too center. You know, he's a little stiff, and I think the speed of Ryan Garcia could do damage. But obviously, we've seen some downfalls on Rolly's side and some unimpressive performances on the more recent side of Rolly. But don't count him out. The man still got a lot of power. He does hit very hard, so we'll see what happens, but I'd be leaning towards Ryan Garcia in that fight. So you got Ryan versus Rolly. You got Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez, which you've seen Jose Ramirez get dropped before, but you never really seen him like really get wobbled, rocked, or anything like that. Like Josh Taylor knocked him down. Josh Taylor's not like the craziest heavy power puncher, but I mean, if he catches you, he catches you. You know what I'm saying? Then you look at Devin Haney. Devin Haney, obviously, he's not chinny, but didn't have success in his last fight. We've seen him get wobbled before when he got wobbled by Jorge Linares. I don't know why I couldn't remember his name. I literally just played with him in Undisputed a couple days ago. But yeah, so he got wobbled by Jorge Linares. But we have seen Devin come back from a little bit of adversity. We have seen Jose Ramirez come back from a little adversity. Stylistically, who do I think wins this fight? Believe it or not, as of right now, I'm leaning towards Jose Ramirez, but I'll definitely have a better, look on that once the fight week comes, because I got to see the energy that Devin Haney's going to bring, right? Obviously, nobody was rocking with his energy post-fight, losing to Ryan Garcia, and I understand all the PEDs and everything like that. I understand, right? But people still aren't rocking with the way that he's handling the whole loss and doing the whole court shit and everything like that. So people aren't rocking with it regardless. But I have to see the energy that he's going to bring into fight week, because that will determine so much on how he's going to be. Is it going to be something where he looks like he's just so determined to come back, get a win, maybe get back to Ryan Garcia, or just determined to get back in there and show people that, he's still a dog, he's still supposed to be on top of the game, all that kind of stuff? Because in boxing, you lose one fight, you could be on top of the game, lose one fight, and that's it. You just fell off just like that, because it just... I don't understand boxing with the whole zero, with the undefeated stuff. You go to MMA, you go to UFC, it's a huge thing if you genuinely are undefeated in MMA. I mean, that's fucking crazy. If you are undefeated in the UFC, that is phenomenal. I mean, you got Ilia Topuria, you got Dricus du Plessis, you got guys that are undefeated in the UFC, right? And it's amazing. It's amazing. But if these guys lost their next fight, their downfall isn't a whole thing yet, right? It doesn't make them terrible. It doesn't drop them down as being a garbage fighter. It just means somebody caught up to him at that moment, and Ryan Garcia, I think, regardless of the PEDs, kind of had Devin Haney's number that night. So it might have just been the night that Devin Haney was going to fall. But let's see how he bounces back. Let's see the energy he brings to fight week for Jose Ramirez. Right now, I'm leaning toward Jose Ramirez, but I think it will be a pretty explosive fight. Believe it or not, Devin does tend to bring like a boring pace sometimes, just sitting behind a jab. I think in a fight like this, the style of Jose is going to force Devin into a fight. And then you got Teofimo Lopez is facing off with Arnold Barboza. Now, I've had this question asked to me many, many times. Who is the most overrated boxer in the game currently? My answer is typically Teofimo Lopez. Can Teo change that? Yes, with this fight specifically. Get this win, and I can kind of start to change. Look, a lot of people hold on to that Lomachenko win, and it was a good win. It was a fantastic win, but that was just his best night. You know what I'm saying? That was his best night. He proceeded to lose to Camboso, so explain to that. You know what I mean? That was just his best night. Now, he is a skilled boxer. He's got great defense. He's got good hands, but he's kind of wishy-washy, right? And his attitude is the same thing. It's wishy-washy. It's another thing where I'm going to have to wait until fight week to really see what the energy is going to be like for Teofimo Lopez, because he's wishy-washy. Does he come in with this cool, calm, collected? Is he acting extremely overconfident and cocky? Like, where is he at? What's it going to be, right? And I don't know a ton about Arnold Barboza outside of the ring, right? I've seen him fight before, but I can't really, like, picture anything about him on the outside of the ring. Like, I can't picture remembering, like, oh, Arnold Barboza got into this with somebody. I do remember him going at Teo outside of whatever arena it was. They were outside, if I remember correctly. He did go at Teo and try to start something with him. So this fight is kind of been in the making in a different way. But yeah, I don't know much about him. I really don't know much about Arnold Barboza. But I assume that it's going to be a very good fight. I assume that it's going to be an interesting fight, but it's one of those fights where Teo's gotta go out there and actually do something that is like just amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like absolutely jaw-dropping. Like he needs a huge statement made in his career, because he's not very active. He's a very low activity. I mean, most boxers are, though, to be honest with you. Most boxers are low activity, but he needs a big statement made regardless. Okay. Arnold Barboza is the one who fought Jack Catterall recently. Undefeated. Yeah, okay, he is the one who pressed. So I was right. He is the one who pressed Teofimo Lopez. They do have beef. This man is undefeated, just coming off of a win against Jack Catterall. So, yeah, that's going to be a good fight. Now, the one big thing about boxing that always sits with me is when we get this big-ass announcement like this and you get all excited for it. Is it going to happen? That's always my question. That's always my question when it comes to this game, because is it actually going to fall through? Is it actually going to happen? Because if it is, awesome. If it's not, you just hype this up for nothing. All right, so let's get into the other thing I wanted to talk about. This draw between Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. So I didn't get to watch the fight, but I did go back and watch the highlights. Yeah, it was a close fight. Yeah, Lamont Roach was hitting him with some shots that Tank don't usually get caught with. He definitely brought a good look to Tank. He brought a good fight to him. And from the overall consensus of fight fans, people feeling like he got gifted a little bit with just getting that draw. To me, whenever you see a draw, it's to me the A side lost, right? Or who was being promoted as the A side lost. And the other one the other fighter put on such a good performance that you don't want to screw either of them, so you meet in the middle as a draw. But if the fights are actually that close, there's not much you can argue with. I guess this fight was pretty close, but there was moments where Lamont Roach was tagging him, was catching him with good shots, and then obviously the knockdown. The knockdown wasn't a knockdown from getting hit, wasn't him getting wobbled, rocked, set back, nothing like that. What this knockdown was Tank Davis taking a knee from what he said was like oil in his eye or like gel or something in his eye from his hair, whatever like stuff that was in his hair for the fight, I guess, dripped down into his eye, and he said that's why he went to the knee. But at the end of the day, you go down to a knee, it is a knockdown. It doesn't really matter how it happens. Look back when Floyd broke his hand. When Floyd broke his hand, he went down. They counted it as a knockdown. Yeah, it's a shitty way. It sucks because he really didn't like get knocked down, but it counts as a knockdown. You go into the rule books, it counts as a knockdown. So, yeah, it counted. Is that the reason the fight was a draw? Because that's what Gervonta Davis believes. I don't think so. I think genuinely the fight was so damn close, and the judges did not want to stiff Lamont Roach, and a lot of people believe that Lamont Roach won that fight. Now, I didn't get to see the whole thing. I just watched the highlights. So I didn't, fully see. Was it a robbery? Was it an extremely close fight overall? On the slow sides, who was leading the dance on the slow sides, on the slow parts of the activity? There was a lot of it did seem like it was a high-paced fight, though. It didn't seem like there was a lot of volume thrown. So I don't know. Hopefully I can get to watching this soon. I don't think they have it released on anything yet, but I'm definitely going to end up watching the whole thing back, getting a full breakdown on it, and seeing really who won the fight. Because anytime you get some controversy like that and something ends in a draw, fans are going to want to see it again. Fans want, as a fight fan, it doesn't matter if you're a boxing fan or MMA fan. As a fight fan, you want to see a decisive winner. I don't want to see no bullshit between it. I want to see somebody win. I want to see who is the better man. So if there was a real draw and the fight was really that close, then run it back. I want to see who the better man is. But if it was a robbery, then is Lamont Roach the better fighter? I don't think so. I just think that Tank was getting caught with some shots, staying in the pocket a little too tight with him, And obviously, Tank is good in the pocket, but he's also good at getting in and getting out. And just didn't look like he was doing that much. It seemed like he was staying in the pocket, just trying to box in the pocket with him. And Who knows? Maybe that's what the problem was. But I don't think that the knockdown was the reason it pushed a draw. I think the fight was pretty close to begin with. But like I said, I don't know. There was a lot of punches thrown in that fight. High volume. I got to go back and watch the whole thing. It seemed like an entertaining, good fight. So whoever paid for it, hope you enjoyed that. It's $85. Fuck. It's basically if you're a fight fan, right, and you just maybe just a UFC fan, and you pay for every pay-per-view, that's $85 a month, And when I say pay for pay-per-view, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you stream?" No, a lot of people go to the bars, they go out, they go watch the fights, out with their people and stuff like that. But if you stay home and pay for the fights, that is $85 a month. It's expensive to be a fight fan. So if you not only are paying for the UFC fights, and you pay for boxing fights too, probably spending like $2,500 a year on just fighting alone. I mean, there's been some times where I've paid for multiple different pay-per-views. Paid for a UFC pay-per-view, boxing pay-per-view, a BKFC pay-per-view, like all in the same weekend. But a lot of times it's just too much. It's just way too much. If you even took it back to $50 a piece, I think you'd get less people jumping to the streams, and they'd be buying the fights. I saw the Sheik was talking about dropping these fights to $20. I don't know when that's gonna happen, when he's deciding to do that, when that whole thing is going to transpire. But that's when everybody will be paying for fights. Either way, that's it for this episode. You know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification button so you know when the next episode is out. Your boy Bando's out. I'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.